weather. Up
10 to 5'9". Pedroza weighed in 1 pound heavier, 149.5 to 148.5. Caballero, he is wily, he is rangy, he has a 5-inch reach advantage, and of course the age. Caballero 9 years older, 32 years of age. Pedroza is just 23. Now for the introductions in our main event, here is our ring announcer, Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials assigned for the next contest of the night. The judges will be Dave Moretti, Bill Graham, and Lou Tabbitt. Your referee will be Richard Steele. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Sports Screen Pro Boxing Tour main event of the evening, featuring 10 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. Introducing, in the blue corner, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 148.5 pounds, with a professional record of 19 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, with 13 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Augustine Caballero. And in the red corner, from Henderson, Nevada, weighing 149.5 pounds. His professional record consists of 30 wins, 2 defeats, with 29 KOs. He is rated in the top 10 by all 3 boxing sanctioning bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the very popular Ingles Pedrosa.
Pedroza with a very interesting headgear, and it comes off.
It's a good thing.
Now, the referee will be Richard Steele, and he will give the fighters instruction.
Okay, I gave both of you guys instruction in the dress room. I'm warning you now, obey my command. Shake it, good luck. All right.
Engels Pedroza and Augustine Caballero. It is scheduled for 10 in the welterweight division. You know, it's interesting. Both fighters turned pro at the age of 20. Caballero in 1979, Pedroza in 1986. Pedroza is now getting set for the start of his 33rd professional fight. Over the last less than 4 years, Caballero has been a pro for now 11 years, and he is now going to step into the ring. And for Caballero, he'll be fighting in his 24th pro fight.
Definitely, it's ironic, but the thing is, first of all, Caballero had a lot of his earlier career south of the border, and sometimes a lot of fights go unrecorded. And so it appears to me, from the things I've been looking at, Caballero is a lot more schooled fighter than someone with 24 fights. He may or may not have had more of them, but he's certainly been schooled for longer.
Caballero in the maroon-colored trunks, the taller fighter. Ingles Pedroza in the sequin. Caballero is southpaw.
Pedroza did a lot of sparring with southpaws to help him prepare for this fight, he was telling me.
You talk about Caballero's inactivity. 2 fights in 1981, 1 fight in 1982, 3 fights in 1983, 1 fight in 1984. Then he took a vacation, 1985, 86, 87, 88.
Yes, Caballero's corner and he himself state that they could not get a fight because no one would fight them. They were afraid to fight them. He must be the only man in the world that can go 5 years without finding someone to fight.
Caballero with a good body shot, but we mentioned he is awkward. He is also very sly and experienced, and Pedroza is wild, and Caballero can use that to his advantage.
Definitely, as he's been doing here, he stands back and watches Pedroza and lets him get off a little bit, but makes him miss and then just counter punches. Caballero fighting the fight that he needs to fight right here. Pedroza, I think, needs to get more aggressive and throw more punches.
Pedroza, really a street fighter. Just throws punches. In fact, I saw his fight against C.J. Duffy back in 1989, and he hit the deck twice with Pedroza.
Caballero was a nice right-hand counter there, left-hand counter there, being a southpaw. Just about caught Pedroza, and that could have been a good night, Pedroza.
Pedroza has no qualms about getting up off the canvas and continuing.
He has done that in his last fight. As you step up in caliber opponents, though, you don't necessarily get that chance. Took a good shot there.
Well, you see the ring ropes are quite loose on this small ring, and Caballero is doing a good job of scoring. Both fighters are here in round 1.
It's a very small ring, I noticed, being in there, Bob.
Left by Pedroza scored. Right by Caballero score.
It's a small ring with heat lamps very low from the low ceiling, and it's a high action fight. Conditioning is going to definitely play a part here. 32 years old does not help.
We now pause for a regional break. We come to the end of round number 1. Pedroza against Caballero. It's scheduled for 10.
Big right hand here by Caballero, catches Pedroza right on the button, but it's tough to defend against those punches coming at that angle, being a southpaw. Pedroza comes right back out though and forces the fight at the beginning of this round.
Engels Pedroza backing up Caballero.
Caballero with some nice counter punching to the body down there.
And as you can see, neither fighter minds taking a few to get a few off.
You're definitely right about that. From what I can see this, I can maybe believe that for 5 years they couldn't get an opponent for Caballero. A very tough guy to fight and a very slick fighter.
As we mentioned, his last fight for Caballero was August 14th of last year. He knocked out Vincent Petway, but ruled a no contest after Caballero tested positive for drugs. Pedroza last fought on June 8th of this year in Reno. 4th round knockout of Lewis Howard. The minute gone by in round 2. These are welterweights.
This fight reminds me of a fight I saw in New York between Chris Reed, a world-rated light heavyweight, against Obel Mejias, Julio Obel Mejias. And Caballero has the similarities with Obel Mejias.
And Caballero is hurt. His mouth is wide open. He looks exhausted. He must have gotten hit with a body shot a bit earlier on.
He's playing on Pedroza's mind here. He's trying to get him a little bit thrown off.
And Pedroza just digging away.
Overhand right to start off this lull by Caballero. He's not going to help himself any by standing there taking those body punches for later in the fight.
Punch your head.
Caballero backed into that corner. Good right by Pedroza.
I think Caballero showed us there what he's doing here. He's playing possum a little bit, and he's coming for the bomb.
He was buying himself some time. Caballero showing what ring experience will do and being a veteran of the game. He really bought himself time. Their heads come together, and Richard Steele is warning Caballero. Good round for Ingles Pedrosa. We now pause for a regional break. Ingles Pedrosa and Augustine Caballero jaw at each other as they come to the...
Sneaky little left hook counter here by Pedroza hurts Caballero and starts off the whole 1 minute of Pedroza banging Caballero on the ropes.
And we start round number 3, and here comes Caballero. Oh, a big right by Caballero.
Caballero coming up, putting up fire. He's hurt Pedroza.
And Pedroza loves this. What action.
I think they're both hurt there. Pedroza's been cut. They're both cut.
Cut over the left eye for Pedroza.
And right eye for Caballero. Toe to toe, there's no shortage of desire to mix it up here. Caballero's got him talking his game, but Pedroza has him fighting his game.
We took a bath in blood. Both fighters cut.
Both on the same eye, too. You'd have to think that it might have been from a butt, but they did have heavy exchange there.
Yeah, because it's the left eye. Oh, big right by Caballero, just a bit short.
Caballero lands a few more of those and leaving it up, but I think his cut looks worse at this point.
Yeah, it's a left eye of Pedroza and the right eye of Caballero.
Oh, Caballero exploiting that cut too, just every punch is right on it.
Oh, Pedroza rocks Caballero.
It's been a very close fight in exchange of punishment, but Caballero seems to be feeling the punishment more, just showing more on him.
You know, you would say that maybe this would change one of the fighters' styles that they're cut, but that's the way these guys fight.
They both seem to be thriving at the moment. Big right counter by Caballero as Pedroza's coming in.
Oh, another one.
You'd almost think Caballero's hurt his left hand. It's the only thing he's throwing is his right.
Maybe it's just because it's finding the mark.
Sure is.
If this isn't one of the best rounds of the year to date.
Has to be one of the most action-packed, definitely the most action-packed I've seen.
That is the time remaining in round 3. This one is scheduled for 10, but you kind of get the feeling.
It may not be going that far, Bob. Close out.
Closing seconds of round number 3. We'll be back with more from Las Vegas after this.
Big looping right hand by Caballero finds his mark again right at the beginning of that round. Set the stage for a great round of action. And it doesn't look like they're slowing up now.
We start round 4 now. Pedroza with all the action.
Caballero's hurt from the left hook.
It's scheduled for 10.
Tell you what I see a lot more determination in Pedroza than I do Caballero.
Those body shots now are starting to hurt.
Everything seems to be hurting at this point. 32 years old, Caballero's got to be feeling this. It's a long night. Those are hot lights.
You hear referee Richard Steele yelling to Caballero, punch and get out. But the body shots right there. And look at Pedroza, he's laughing. He's saying no more.
Pedroza doing what he should do. He's staying right on him and just continuing to punch. It's only a matter of time if this continues.
This is the 4th round. We mentioned it is scheduled for 10. But Pedroza just wailing away. Is Caballero throwing a punch in this round?
Caballero smiling at him, but I think it's in the same vein as you may have seen earlier.
Both fighters have cuts along their eye. Pedroza the left eye, Caballero the right, just past the midway point of round 4.
I think age and inactivity are really showing here on Caballero. And if it was a year since his last fight and he won, I think it'll probably be at least a couple until his next.
Well, Caballero is yelling at Pedroza, saying you've got nothing.
Wow.
Oh, he's trying to bite him. Caballero tried to bite Pedroza there.
If he didn't have the mouth shield on, I'm sure he would have. Well, we said he's a wily old veteran. Looks like he's going to try anything. It's just called a barn burner. Nice right hook by Caballero right on the button again at Pedroza, but didn't seem to bother him a little bit.
Caballero makes Pedroza miss. It's been like this since the opening bell, folks.
Caballero pulling all stops, is holding on to the ropes, throwing the right hand, and getting the maximum leverage on his punches here. The referee has yet to see it, I think, because he hasn't mentioned it yet.
We hit the final seconds of round number 4.
The cut on Caballero really starting to look ugly. He's being bothered by it, and you can definitely see it's opening. You see here Caballero telling Pedroza, you've got nothing. But it sure doesn't look like it with a cut like that. He must at least have a knife, if not some big punching power in that left hook.
We start round number 5. Augustine Caballero, the southpaw, in the maroon trunks. Ingles Pedrosa in the sequin. It has been a war. Scheduled for 10 in the welterweight division. Bob Papa along with Donnie Lalonde. This could be one of the most action-packed fights I have seen this year.
Well, certainly, I don't think it's like the moment of action. Whoa! Pedroza catches a really nice right counter coming in and lands one of his own. Non-stop action. Oh. How you doing, Bob? You need some shampoo. We're getting a shower down here with blood and sweat.
It's amazing the punishment that these two guys have taken. This is only round 5. Remember, Caballero is 32 years of age. Pedroza is 23. You wonder how much longer Caballero can continue. Now Pedroza is fighting southpaw.
Caballero seems to really be reserving himself well, though. As you can see, being a veteran, he stands in there and relaxes and really rests and then just lets the bombs go. They're working for him, but I don't know if they're winning the fight for him.
Well, Caballero, a few times in this fight, in the third and second round, looked like he was done. But he did a good job of holding on, clutching, and slipping some punches to recharge.
He's also rejuvenated himself. Oh, he's hurt. He's come back good, strong in a couple rounds, as you said, after he looked very hurt. In that exchange there, I don't know what Pedroza has for a chin, but it must be cast iron because he got hit as hard as you can, and he was coming right in.
Caballero ducking right above us and holding on here in round 5.
Pedroza's left eye starting to close up on him a little bit.
Caballero scores off the ropes and then he ties his man up. There's a method to this madness.
Starting to show a little bit. I was having a hard time figuring it out, but yes, he does seem to be setting the younger fighter up.
And using anything he can. And now Richard Steele is taking a point away from Caballero. He's gouged him, he's butted him, he's tried every trick in the book. We now pause for original. Caballero and Pedroza continue to war near the end of round number 5.
Caballero comes back with another bite on the right shoulder and then the headbutt. He'll try anything. That's the second bite he's gotten off. Pedroza's not happy about it.
Referee Richard Steele took a point away from Caballero.
That was for the headbutt. I don't think he's realized that he's also a biter. He's a bit of a biter, this Caballero.
How do you have it scored, Donnie, through 5 rounds?
It's a very, very tough fight to score, but I just have to give it to Pedroza just on his workmanlike effort of just continuing coming forward and forcing the fight. But Caballero certainly has landed some bombs, and I could see the judges seeing it differently.
Well, they tie up again. On my card, the 5th round was the first round I actually gave to Caballero, but then he lost it because of the point.
You're right, and that hurts a lot in the scoring.
Oh, and down goes Caballero.
Big exchange.
He's up at the count of 9.
Another veteran-like move waiting to the 9 count, but I don't think it's going to help him there. He's hurt. There goes to show the youth there. Both men exchange this point in the fight. Caballero just doesn't have as much left.
Oh, but Caballero scores a right hand.
He scored a left and a right there. Pedroza getting a little bit sloppy. That's right, he's got to come back, but just go to the body, go to the head, the same old stuff, but stay on him. They're getting a little bit wise to each other's hook bombs, but they still seem to be catching enough of them.
Well, there's been some question about Caballero's heart. In all of his inactivities, he fakes a bolo and then scores, but he's shown a lot here.
He seems to be enjoying himself in here today. He's getting into this fight. Quite the showman.
I'm enjoying watching it, but I can't imagine enjoying it being in there.
Yeah, only in the way that a fighter can enjoy such a thing.
Caballero takes another.
He's playing possum there. He's playing possum.
Yeah, he scored a right.
That's it. Pedroza has to go to the body to go up to the head when he's leaning back like that. I'm sure he's learning a lot in this fight. Oh, big right hand by Caballero.
Pedroza just keeps coming forward.
Caballero can't hit Pedroza any better than that. He's hit him at his Sunday best at least a half dozen times today. So you know it's not going to be a one-punch knockout for Caballero.
What a fight. So we come to the end of round number 6. We're going to stay right here.
These rounds are flying by. It's so action-packed.
Now there goes Augustine Caballero back to his corner. In round number 6.
Good exchange of right hands there, but Pedroza caught him a little bit cleaner and right on the button. Big difference. He tucked in a little bit, and Caballero just got sloppy, kept his chin hanging out there. Nice counter by Pedroza.
Caballero got up at 9, and there's Ingles Pedrosa. He's relatively fresh for a guy who's been in a fight like this. We start round 7.
He's only
Scheduled
23
for
years
10.
old, yeah. He's only 23 years old, Bob. Makes a big difference. Caballero's 32. He's also, I think, part of his ploy is to look tired so he can get off those sneaky right hooks.
Remember, Pedroza is ranked 3rd by the WBA, 4th by the IBF, and 9th by the WBC. He is 30-2 with 29 knockouts. That 30th knockout is tough to come by.
He's certainly earning it if he gets it. Definitely the cut men in this fight have got to be.
And Caballero almost took a seat with us. Yeah, you got to credit the cut men. Both fighters have had bad cuts. Pedroza along the left eye, Caballero along the right eye.
Caballero's has appeared more serious to me. As Pedroza bangs away on the body, I thought on a number of occasions when Caballero went back to the corner, that cut, the fight was over. They seem to have closed it up real nicely here.
Referee Richard Steele has earned his pay. Both men tired after what they've gone through the first 6 rounds.
The Sports Channel taking care of our dry cleaning bills here, Bob. I think that we're getting pretty messed up here, and I don't know if that's part of the duty or not.
We are soaked in blood. With Caballero resting against the rope. Just unleash a right.
Pedroza definitely the fresher of the two, and again, youth I think is playing the big part. Caballero showing the veteran experience by just laying back, resting, and just picking his spots.
Now we welcome those from Sports Channel Philadelphia who watch the Phillies and the Braves. Well, we've had more hits in this game than the Braves have had in a while. Augustine Caballero and Engels Pedrosa are in round number 7 of this scheduled 10-round welterweight bout. Caballero in the maroon, Pedroza in the sequin. And these guys have gone toe-to-toe and thrown some unbelievable punches. There's only been 1 knockdown. Caballero went down in round number 6. Bob Papa along with Donnie Lalonde. Glad you can join us from Las Vegas, Nevada.
They have thrown many punches and landed many of them. There's been not only a lot of hits, but a few home runs. It just seems that nobody wants to go. Oh, big. Oh, you don't punch hard. You don't get more leverage than that. Caballero putting his whole body in from 1 foot all the way to the end of the hand.
On an uppercut.
Pedroza seems to be absorbing it and holding his composure. He's a little bit dazed here, I think.
What a fight. This is unbelievable.
Pedroza, the one normally coming straight forward, being backed up.
At the end of round 7. Caballero playing possum.
Big right hand by Caballero up there, and then a little bit of possum playing. But Pedroza isn't buying any of it. He seems to be right there, and he's not buying any of the
Well, Sports Channel America's Pro Boxing Tour is in its 15th month. It started in April of 1989. And this by far has to be the most brutal fight we've seen so far.
I can't imagine a fight with more action. There has not been a moment where there hasn't been something happening. Some more body punches. Richard Steele hasn't mentioned the low blows. There's been a lot right on the belt. Caballero playing possum here and just kind of conserving some energy. Pedroza seems to be onto his right hook. He seems to be finally caught on, not to just sit there and hold his chin out there to be hit by that right hook. And it's taken away Caballero's only sort of offensive weapon. Big punches landed by Pedroza there.
I mean, can you imagine if there was some way to keep track of the punches in this fight?
computers couldn't work that quick. I don't think. There's been some heavy exchanges landing simultaneously. The youth of Pedroza's held him in there, I think, and that's what's really been the difference here. Of course, he's got an iron chin to go along with it.
You wonder how much longer Caballero can play possum and have it work for him. It's worked in the past few rounds, but only so much punishment a man can take.
Yeah, I've been wondering that myself, and he seems to be hanging in there. But Pedroza, too, also has absorbed a lot of punishment in this fight. He's got to be feeling it also.
This is round number 8, scheduled for 10.
Pedroza's line is that Superman Davis can run, can fly, but he can't hide. I certainly see, and especially a small ring like this, a hell of a war between those two, if that's what he's looking at.
First, he's got to get by Caballero.
He definitely does. Caballero, with this punching power and his coyness, is definitely in this fight. But on scorecards, with the point taken away in the knockdown, I see Pedroza way ahead. With the 5- and 2-year layoff for Caballero, and they stated that it was because he couldn't get fights. At first, it was hard to believe. You can see here as he comes back, he's got Pedroza hurt. Pedroza cool under pressure, though.
And Caballero is not finishing him off.
I don't think he's got enough left.
Near the end of round 8.
Oh, he hurt his arm, Caballero.
He hurt his right wrist and hand.
He may have broke a bone there. He hit on such a weird angle.
He's being counted. That's it. Richard Steele will stop it.
Caballero's legs earlier were bothering him, I noticed in between rounds. And now his hand, I believe that he's got a very, very hurt wrist or hand, as Bob had pointed out.
And look at Pedroza in his corner. I don't think he knows where he is. He was staggering around as he raised his arm.
What a fight.
And there's Augustine Caballero, and he hurt his right hand or his wrist as he was hurting Pedroza.
Pedroza has to be happy with this one. Nice to get out of a war like that.
Well, I'm interested to hear what he has to say. I don't know if he could really be happy with this. He wants a shot at a world title to go against an Augustine Caballero and to take this much punishment.
Yeah.
You have to wonder, too.
At the same time, with an unorthodox fighter like that, and Caballero being the unorthodox fighter he is, I think that people understand.
Let's take a look at the injury again. It's a right hand. It could be the wrist. It could be the hand.
Just bounced off the top of the head. It could be any bone in there. I think, from my experience, it could be any one of the bones in the hand, where there's so many of them, or in the wrist. But it was definitely right on the top of the head, at a weird angle.
If there just wasn't enough support. Take a look at it again.
He put everything into that punch.
And he was counted for a knockdown here. Richard Steele stepped in, and he gave him a count, and then Caballero could not continue. Take a look at his wrist and his arm. Unfortunately, it looks like he may have broken a bone.
Believe me, Bob, I've been in there and I've been in this position, and it looks to me like there are some broken bones in that hand, and maybe not just one.
Maybe we'll get a chance to hear from Caballero as well. And Ingles Pedrosa comes up with the victory. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Chuck Hull, for the official time of the stoppage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 59 seconds of the 8th round. The winner by a TKO, Ingles Pedrosa.
Pedroza now 31-2 with 30 knockouts, but this one certainly was not easy. 2:59 of round number 8, taken to the limit by Augustine Caballero. We will hear from the principals of this war after this timeout on Sports Channel America.